No, I was having bars and everything. I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe it's the service provider, but we're good to go here. So I
Okay.
don't
All
know.
right. Yeah. Let's start again. Yeah. Let's just start again because I didn't hear much there.
Okay.
Just start from the top.
Okay. All right. It was what I said was so great that I don't want I don't want it lost. But we'll
Well,
go
this
back.
is being recorded. This is being recorded. So if the platform did catch what you said, it's still there.
All right. Excellent. Well, basically, since we met a year ago, I mean, a lot has happened at Nevada North. That's our flagship project that we own 100% in Surge Battery Metals. Um, what stood out when we looked at this project, we successfully exited a company called Millennial Lithium, which I founded in 2016 and sold to Lithium Americas in 2022 for 500 million. And we were looking for other projects to get involved with. And when we came across that Nevada North, one thing stood out, and that was the grade. And as you know, and your listeners know, in mining, grade wins. And this Nevada North project, is the highest grade lithium clay deposit in North America. It rivals Lithium America's Thacker Pass, which is the flagship project that they're developing in Nevada, about 200 miles west of us. It has a over $1 billion valuation, and that's really the size of the prize that we're aiming to achieve here, is to de-risk this project to the point that it's at the stage where Thacker Pass is and achieve the same type of valuation. So we're well down the track. We did our maiden resource in the last 12 months. Now we're working on the development phase. We're working on the PEA. There's a little more drilling to come, but really this is the time in these projects when it gets really, really busy. So we're excited, great results to date, and looking forward to this year and next.
Yeah. I mean, I got to say that when we met in Florida, and you went through the presentation, and I looked at it in more detail than I had up until that point. I was pretty impressed. Um, and the share price has actually dropped since then, as many of the stocks in the sector have dropped because of the price of the metal itself has sort of gone out of favor temporarily. It was very much in favor during much of 2022 and the first half of 2023, and now it's out of favor. And what's interesting from my perspective as an investor who's seen these cycles over and over and over again is with an industrial metal like lithium, you want to buy when it's out of favor, not when everybody is talking about it and the share prices are up 1,000% in the last 6 months. So this is a much more interesting um, time, in my opinion, and the project is the most advanced it's ever been. So let's just go through the recent news. So on April 9th, you announced laboratory trials managed to create a 99% purity, lithium carbonate from clays. So basically, you're doing some pilot testing. Tell us about that, and how important was that a milestone to achieve?
Well, that's a great question because, it's not typical mining lithium in terms of, shovel and spade and take it out. There's a chemical engineering process that's attached to being able to produce the lithium carbonate at the end. And it's really key to be able to show that you can extract lithium from the clays. And what we're working on next is, can you do it economically? And that's what the PEA is all about. But to go backwards to achieve a 99% technical grade was very, very key. And what that tells us is, with just a little modification, because now we've determined what the impurities are that are left, we will be able to get to battery grade, which is 99.99, which is the holy grail of this whole process. And we're pretty confident you'll see the next round of met work will get us to battery grade. And that just shows you, and any end user, that this product can be serviced and delivered to the battery makers that they can use, and that's important. They don't want, a product with deleterious minerals in it. They need 99.99% purity, and we've proven that this project can deliver that.
Okay, so what's the difference between 99% and 99.9%.
It's just further refining. It's just further refining now in the process to identify that, some battery manufacturers can accept technical grade, and that might be the product that we end up selling. But you're going to get a better price if you can sell at a 99.99% purity
I see.
level.
Okay.
You just need to strip out. Just think about your battery. You need that lithium needs to be as pure as it can be, so it can hold its charge to the point that the battery maker's specifications need it to be.
Okay. Got it. On April 30th, you announced you hired Bort Longyear for your drill program this year. They're obviously a drilling contractor, very well known. So has the drill program started, or is that about to happen in the next week?
As we speak right now, they're clearing the way, delivering water to sites, clearing the drill pads. The start date is May 28th. And what's really important about this drill program is, just go back a couple more releases, we were able to get an access agreement. There was a piece of ground in the middle of the whole area that was owned by a separate entity, and we were able to get access agreements. So we're going to be able to drill that ground. And what that's going to allow us to do is actually drill further south. So between drilling the ground, the private ground, and opening up our southern area, we estimate that we're going to increase the strike length of the deposit by at least a kilometer south and probably a kilometer west. And that's going to greatly enable us to enhance tonnage. And it's going to be an exciting fall when we can come out with an increase in our resource.
So I'm looking at the current resource. It's 4.7 million tons of lithium carbonate with an average grade of 2839 ppm. That's a very, I mean, that's a good grade. That's definitely high grade using a 1250 ppm cutoff. So if it's 4.7 million tons right now, what is your object? Like, how big can this get in your estimation?
Well, it depends on if you just keep drilling. I mean, this program this year is designed to only include 8 holes. You could drill more and get it bigger. I think it's important to realize it's already a world-class deposit. At 4.7 million tons, you have 100 years of 40,000 tons a year mine life. But the market loves bigger and better, and we will show that this deposit is a lot bigger than the initial resource that was based on 20 holes to date. We're going to add 10 more here, and I think we can conservatively expect a minimum 50% bump in this resource because we're doubling the strike length. And to date, the geophysics show that the lithium values in clays still exist in that area, and it's been pretty accurate to date, the geophysics. When we drill, we get a high degree of certainty that when we drill in the geophysical targets and we hit the lithium clay deposits, and we feel pretty confident in this round of drilling that we're going to hit, given the geophysics, that we're going to hit the lithium clay and extend this deposit south and west, and like I said, hopefully add at a minimum 50% increase in the resource,
So 50%, you'd be up to about 7 million tons. Is that right?
give or take.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I worked over some economics here this morning. I just did some back of the napkin math, and yeah, this is very big, and very high grade. So, what is the disconnect between 60 million market cap and the tonnage that you have in the ground at an exceptional grade?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, I think you touched on it earlier. I mean, it's the market in general, the lithium market. We're a lithium stock, and all lithium stocks are down about 70%, and we were no different. There are stocks that got hit a lot harder than us. I mean, look at Lithium Americas. It's gone from 4 billion in market cap to 1 billion. It was $25. It's now 5. So the comparables are not helping, and that's based on the pricing out in the market. And people are expecting The problem with the market is, we don't have a futures market. It's wildly volatile based on contract pricing that doesn't really reflect the underlying, market at the time. And we get these wild swings in the market. And just like we had a swing that went way too high when lithium hit 80,000, I think you're seeing it went way too low when it retreated back to 12. And somewhere in that 20 to $25,000 range is probably the right market value. But all we can do is keep de-risking this project so that when the sentiment turns and people are looking, for a lithium project that holds value, we will de-risk this one to the point that people will, like you have, obviously recognize the value in this company at 60 million today. We're doing everything right. The project is excellent. Our technical people just love it. We just have to keep de-risking it through just what we did. Show that, through the network we can produce the lithium. We're going to do the PEA. We're going to do further drilling. We're going to get to the next phase of development, which is called the plan of operation, expand the drilling and tighten up that resource from measured and indicated to reserve. And as we de-risk this project, I guarantee you the market cap will grow from here.
Yeah, I got to ask you a tough question, but first I'm going to, tee it up with some positives, that I see. I mean, I don't think you could have a better location for a project like this. I think it's literally perfect. You're in the same state as the Tesla Gigafactory. You can probably ship this by rail to San Francisco if you had to, or Los Angeles. Great infrastructure. The deposit is about as simple and near surface as you could possibly get. I mean, it's just a perfect open pit. The grade is exceptional. The metallurgy is exceptional, what you've proven so far. Are there any fatal flaws in terms of the claims, where this project is located? Are there any endangered species in the area? Is there anything that we're not seeing?
Well, those are astute questions, and those are the same questions I asked myself before I got involved in this project because I didn't want to get involved in a project that had a fatal flaw and spend my time, and then 2 years later figure out that we missed something. So, like I said, we did a deep dive into this project. The fatal flaws, I think we're through any of the hurdles. We've done the environmental and cultural study work. That was all part of our submissions for the plan of operation, which go in this year. There are no red flags in those reports, i.e., unlike Ioneer with the buckwheat, which has slowed that project down considerably, or like Lithium Americas that had a cultural issue where some tribal has claimed that there was a native battleground on their site. We don't have any of those. So at this stage of the game, and from everything we know, there are no fatal flaws in this project.
Okay. So there's just an out of favor sector, and you're in the sort of feasibility pre-permitting stage, which is also kind of a slower news stage. So that's what, I mean, if you had to explain it, I mean, is that what is giving this opportunity to buy it at basically pennies on the dollar?
I think it's the market, like you said. You've been involved in this market a long time, as have I. I don't even want to tell you how long. I've seen I've seen many cycles. I've seen the same cycle when I was at Millennial. We found it in 2016, 2019. Nobody wanted to talk to us. Stock ran to 3, went back to 80 cents. Couldn't get anybody to pay attention, and then 2 years after that, it sold for $5. So we're at that stage in the cycle where, just like you've seen it before with uranium and gold and any other commodity out there. We're just in that cycle right now. The market is very fickle, doesn't pay attention for long, but when it does, like you saw last year, once people figure out what's there, this thing will take off and everybody will look and say, well, oh, that was so obvious. Why didn't I just buy it when it was down, right? And then they end up chasing it. So you're bang on with your assessment. And I think I like the fact that you're highlighting a stock like this when it's at a price that people can make money at, instead of calling me when it was running at a buck 20 and trying to hype it. I appreciate the fact that you're introducing this to your audience now when it's out of favor.
All right. I want to open up the floor to a couple questions from the audience. So if you have a question for Graham, please um, press your speaker prompt, and I'll call on you. Final question that I have, I guess, is, the Biden, administration has talked big with their Inflation, Reduction Act. I mean, that's a whole nother topic, but they did earmark $70 billion towards EV and battery, supply chain across the U.S. I'm not sure how much of that they've actually doled out. What do you have to do? What does Surge Battery Metals have to do to get some of that sweet, government funding?
Yeah, we have to, and we are doing it. We're reaching out. Our CEO Greg was in Washington last week, introducing the company, Surge Battery Metals, to the powers that be there. And when the time is right, because that DOE funding is literally for above ground construction, so we need to make the Department of Energy aware of our project and make sure it qualifies, and we do, and just be there to apply when we're ready, which is at the point of bankable feasibility. We will be reaching out to the DOE to apply for that wonderful funding, which is up to I think it's up to 80% of the project at T-bill rates, which is unheard of in our industry.
Sounds good to me. Where do we sign up? Stock Shaman, do you have a question for Graham? Stock Shaman, you just have to unmute yourself, buddy. There's a little mic at the bottom left.
Sorry about that. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, I just wanted to ask you how you guys fix for water rights.
Well, the fact you even know how to ask that question shows me that you know a lot about this. So that's a great question. And we have applied for all the water rights in the area. We did that over a year and a half ago. And in Nevada, it's first come, first serve. So we have 1,600 acre feet uh, applied there. And we also are in discussions with a neighboring ranch for another 1,000 acre gallon feet. And that would be sufficient for the first phase of development. So great question. We're on it, and we have enough to cover the first phase of development at this time.
That's the stuff. Keep your head up, you stick on the ice, and skate where the puck is going to be.
Exactly. So
Have a good one.
all these other people in the area that claim they have property near Surge, that's the question you want to ask them.
Water is important in the Southwest, and actually, it's important everywhere. Without water, you can't really do mining. Thanks, Stock Shaman. Does anybody else have a question for Graham? Got about another 5 or 6 minutes here. If anybody else wants to ask a question, so Graham, what are sort of the key catalysts that you see coming down the pipe here in the next 6 months for Surge?
Yeah, key catalyst for us, you're seeing it announced, was the further drilling, and hopefully that will lead to a resource expansion in September. And then we will follow that with a PEA in November. Those are two really key catalysts. And then on top of that, we filed for the plan of operation. And what the plan of operation is it's really the next phase of development in Nevada, where we move on from our very limited notice of intent, which was 5 acres of disturbance. And then we go to a 250 acre disturbance, which means we'll expand the drilling to 80 to 100 holes and work on the engineering to do the bankable feasibility. So post 6 months, exciting times, going to get really hectic next year with the expanded drilling and all the engineering work for the bankable fees. But for this year, PEA, increased resource, and also probably another round of met work to show that we can get the battery grade. So lots going on, lots of good news flow.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are moving pretty fast. So PEA straight to bankable feasibility study. And did you say that you'll have the bankable done by the end of next year?
That's the plan.
Wow, that's record speed. How can you do it so fast?
Well, we can work on the engineering while we're drilling, and also the drilling here is relatively easy. It's not like Argentina where each hole was like $1 million and took 2 months. Here we can drill a hole. We're at surface, like you pointed out. We're drilling it down to 300 feet, and it's relatively quick to drill and cost effective. So I'm going to get this whole drill program for the plan of operation for around $5 million. and that wouldn't have got me a sandwich down in Argentina. So that's really in a nutshell how we can do it. The drilling's quick and cheap, and we can work on the engineering alongside the drilling.
Okay, and then I guess final question. So obviously, Plan A, when you have the bankable feasibility study in hand and the numbers are compelling, Plan A will be to get a government grant at T-bill rates, or a loan at T-bond rates, or the 10-year rate essentially. But what would Plan B be? Is there a path to build it yourself?
I think so. I mean, the path is there, especially if Thacker Pass. Along that time frame, you'll have to remember too that Thacker Pass should be up and running by then, which will sort of be proof of concept. And I guess when you go back to what's the fatal flaw, if Thacker Pass screws up, okay, and it doesn't work for whatever reason, they screw the whole process up. That's going to be a kick in the teeth for us. But all indications in the engineering, I mean, they're well down the track of de-risking it. So we're pretty confident that's there. So I think, we are in line for the same type of funding that they received. And Plan B would be, you'd have to go your conventional route, debt financing, et cetera, off take. And Plan C is, maybe set this thing up for an M&A activity. So it's not something you'll have to ask me. It's something that you'll be asking the person who takes this project over.
Graham, thank you very much for your time here today. I look forward to speaking again. Maybe we'll talk in a couple months. Maybe you have some, results that you want to speak about, and we'll set something up.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity, and I'm always available. And if you'd like to have me back, I'm happy to be there.
All right. Cheers. Have a great day, everybody, and thanks for tuning in. I'll post this to my YouTube this weekend. Thank
Thank
you.
you.